Welcome Cemetary. Episode number 90. I got nothing else to say.
Welcome everyone to Pod Cemetary. Welcome back.
What's up? I'm David P. Kolb.
Yes, and I am Critical. And we're doing something a little bit different today. I felt like, I had this ingenious idea that Dave P. Kolb wasn't really too happy about. I decided that I was going to go into this mausoleum because we're on the graveyard, we're on the gravesite, but we're going to be separate to make it more fun and scary, I felt. And you felt differently, right, Dave?
Yeah, so we're basically wandering around the cemetery. I'm wandering around by myself. And I don't know, man, there's a lot of vines out here tonight. It's kind of weird. It's not really used to that, Usually it's just a cemetery. We're hanging out by a gravestone, so I don't know what's going on. But that's all right. We're gonna get it done.
Yeah. Plus it's scary in here. I'm in a mausoleum. I'm like enclosed in, so a zombie can pop out anytime,
You're right.
So
You're right. And I'm gonna be running the other way. I'm gone.
So you're good.
Yeah, there's always a trap door in a mausoleum, so something can pop out. You're facing the door, and it's gonna come right behind you. Everyone knows
that is true. Yeah, that is true. So let me face against the door. Face away from the door. Right. So where did you want to start off? What topic you want to start off tonight on the Pod Cemetery?
Well, I think we should start where we left off because we've been gone for a minute because of Resident Evil. Like we said, we were going to.
Yeah, we warned everybody. We told everybody what we told you.
We're going to be playing the game.
No, so I'm down for that. I definitely beat the first, the first disc, which was Leon, and you beat it as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And we should have coordinated on that because one of us should have played as Claire, and then we could talk about the differences.
Right. That is true. Yeah, but from what I've been reading, man, it's not. I guess it's not on par with like the first part 2, Resident Evil 2, because a lot of stuff that happened with, from what I understand, like you might have a storyline with Leon, but then all of a sudden with Claire, your storyline affects Claire's storyline. It's not like that with this one, from my understanding. It's just,
really?
It just looks great. Yeah, man. Like it was like I was looking up the complaints about the game, and even when I was playing it, it was just stuff that was going on that I was doing in the first one. It seemed off when I played with Claire. What I was doing with Leon, it seemed off when I was playing with Claire.
Huh.
Like certain things just didn't make sense. Like, for example, like you needed to remember when you what is it? Like the steam room? It's a room where you have to go to for the steam or whatever, like to shut the steam off.
Cut it off, right? You got to find the valve or whatever to turn it off.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to do the same thing for Claire.
Huh. Well, I vaguely remember that kind of stuff being that way in the original.
You mean being the same way?
Yeah, where stuff didn't really make sense why you had to do it over again when you were playing through as the other character. But I could be wrong.
It seemed like
it's been so long.
Right. It seemed like you were like in a different, and also too, they said that because like it felt like you were in different parts of the house. Either like it was places where Claire couldn't go that Leon can go, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And then it was like areas outside the house as well. And also too, they also said that well, which is true. You know, we both played with Leon. There's really no interaction between Claire and Leon other than at the gate. You know, like you see her on the monitor, you talk to her at the gate,
Right.
and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, but in the actual video game, I actually looked at the playthrough of the original part 2. There was interaction throughout the whole game.
Really?
Yeah, like I was shocked. I was like, damn, they really dropped the ball on this game. I didn't know how bad they dropped the ball. And because remember, I told you when they did the top Resident Evil games, and part 2 was better than the older part 2 was better than this part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you had that. So it was a lot of stuff that they just, they kind of dropped the ball on, and it was things that like you had to fight the same villains at certain points. And it didn't make sense. And they were saying, like, how could you fight this villain with Claire in this spot and then fight this same villain in this spot with Leon, but you don't come across one another?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was, yeah. And I hope they don't mess up Nemesis if they do a remake. I heard they're doing a remake on the part 3 on Nemesis. So I hope you make choices. And that was a big thing on Nemesis, I felt.
Yeah, I did hear about that. So they haven't, it's not official yet, but they are talking about doing the Nemesis remake.
Right.
But I enjoyed the remake. I thought it really took me back to playing the original. Like I had the same sort of intense reaction to it, like there are parts that are just so intense that it was like, man, this is just fantastic. Like this is just like playing the original part 2 or
right.
And it was a lot of stuff.
I agree. I would say it was great up until the point where I had to play with Claire. Like we're basically had to switch over because you didn't know that things wouldn't connect. You know what I mean? Things were going to be off.
Right.
So but it's been a cool game so far, thus far anyway. There's some things I've noticed that people have been doing online. We talked about where when not the Nemesis, but when the Tyrant comes, Mr. X, they actually replace the scary, spooky theme music of Mr. X, and they replace it with DMX. X is going to give it to you. So it's like chasing you down the hallway, while you're listening to the tunes of DMX. X is going to give it to you. I thought that was interesting. And they also have something where they replace.
Are there videos of people playing that mod?
Yes, on YouTube. Okay, yeah. I've been wasting my life away watching all of these different mods of Resident Evil. And another favorite one I like wasting my life to is the mod where they replace all the villains, zombies or whatever, with Mr. X's. So you have a whole bunch of Mr. X's chasing you throughout the video game.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was spooky. So that was interesting. Then it got really ridiculous when somebody turned themselves into a giant. They made Mr. X a giant, or they made Mr. X really small. So like one dude, he was running and you didn't see Mr. X because he made him so small, and Mr. X, I guess, punched his ankles and knocked him out. And he was like real tiny. So it started getting ridiculous after a while, but it was still entertaining up until a certain point. And they're playing with like different characters. I think they were playing with zombies and all kind of other things. So that was pretty cool.
That's funny.
But I would say also too, should we talk about, I guess, the topics we may talk about later on?
Yeah.
Kind of give an idea, because I did want to speak on the Candyman a little later, not in any specific order. I did want to touch on Horror Noire and Mortal Kombat 11. What about yourself? Any topics you wanted to touch on?
Well, yeah, all of those. But before we leave Resident Evil, we should mention that Netflix announced that they are making a Resident Evil TV series.
Right. Do you know when?
No, I don't think there's any set release date for it.
Oh, okay.
But I thought that was funny too, because like we talked about on the podcast how they need to reboot the movies and make them more horror oriented.
Right, right,
So
right.
it looks like Netflix is going to do that.
That's gonna be good, man. I can't wait to see what type of what they're gonna put into it. You
Yeah.
know, like is it going to be? Are they going to follow the same action storyline they were doing before, or are they going to really like slow it down and make it horror?
I would hope that they're going to make it horror because I think that's one of the main complaints of that series is that it's more action movie than horror. So
Hmm. And they tried to make the video game action horror like more action, and that was part 6, and that really fell flat on its face.
right, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's gonna be cool. So I'm gonna finish up on the Mortal Kombat, and I'm gonna keep in touch. Now you've been playing Part 7,
Oh, I have
or
Resident Evil 7. Yeah,
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 how you liking it so far?
yeah. I like it a lot. It's really awesome.
Oh, what part are you on?
I'm still pretty close to the beginning. I haven't played it too much, but
Oh, okay.
I got just after the old man was chasing after me, and they can't be killed.
Right. Okay.
It's like in the garage, and he's trying to run you over, and uh, it's really crazy so far. It's got like it's got an Evil Dead vibe to it. It's got Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff going on. Like it's definitely a different different type of Resident Evil game.
Right. 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 That's why it took me a minute to get adjusted to Part 2, because coming off 7, it's so different.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and it's the only one that's first person, so
That's true.
The main titles. So.
That's true. So I also wanted to touch on one of our favorite horror movies. I would say coming up, the Candyman.
Yeah,
and there's some rumors that Jordan Peele might be making another Candyman.
mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about that? Or do you think it's well? Actually, they actually had a release date. They said they're trying to make it as early as June 12th of 2020.
Oh wow.
Have it out. Yeah, have it out by then. That's what they were saying.
Yeah. It's pretty. I mean, I'm excited about it. I think it'll be good. Jordan Peele, he has done no wrong so far. So, so if anybody's gonna handle that, I think that's the perfect person.
Right, and then you have the Twilight Zone coming out too. You heard about that?
Oh, really? No.
Yeah, I want to say it may come out like this month, if I'm not mistaken, this month or next month. And so I'll keep you posted throughout the night before we finish. See when Twilight Zone is coming out. But I wanted to say that yeah, it's rumored that they're trying to get Lakeith Stanfield from Get Out, Atlanta,
yeah,
Death Note, and Sorry to Bother You. They're trying to get him to play the lead character. This lead character name is Anthony, and he's supposed to be like a social pronounced artist in Chicago who is doing like researching on the urban legends of the Candyman. So that's going. I was hoping Lakeith was going to play Candyman. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
But he's playing the lead actor, so that kind of like it took it down a notch for me. I thought that would have been cool to see Lakeith play Candyman.
Well, but it's interesting though because the character's name is I don't think he's officially signed on yet.
No,
but the character's name is Anthony, like you said.
Anthony.
But in the original Candyman, remember when she pulls that baby out of the fire, like when she dies at the end? The baby's name is Anthony.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so
I did not know that.
Yeah, there's speculation that it's actually the baby from the original Candyman grown up.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that's a pretty big coincidence if that's not. I mean, it's got to be, right? Like,
no, that's got to be. Yeah. That's got to be, man. That is crazy. Wow. Okay. Yeah,
so that got me excited for the movie right there when I read that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And so it's supposed to be directed by Nia DaCosta. Like she did two movies I'm not really familiar with, like Little Woods and Odessa. To really horror films or anything like that. But yeah, we'll
Hmm.
see. We'll see how everything goes. And he's like co-writing the film and also producing it. So
Producing.
yeah. So cannot wait for that one.
Cannot wait for
Um,
it, man.
anything on your end that you have that you've been checking out?
Uh, well, I mean, horror noir, which we're about to talk about that for sure.
Oh yeah. Funny thing, I subscribed. I was trying to unsubscribe before the before the deadline, and I didn't. So now I'm like
So you've got
a
Shutter for a
member
month?
for a year. Yeah, nah, for a year.
For a year? You signed up for a year?
Yeah, it was like $45 a year or something like that. The option.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what button I pressed. I really fucked up, but I can't read. No, but yeah, so I got it. So I have it for a year. So I'm gonna look into it to see if I can do it for a month, but hopefully I didn't do it for a year.
Well, you
But
you can. It's $5 a month, which is $60 a year. So if you got it for 45, that's a deal. That's like 3 months for free.
oh, okay, we'll see. Okay, and then also, I did get some news about the Twilight Zone. It's supposed to unveil its 2 episodes during the April 1st premiere. So, so we're looking at probably like April 1st.
Oh, that's right around the corner.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So that's cool.
Sweet. Yeah. I used to love the
So
Twilight Zone. I still watch it on New Year's
yeah,
Day. Sci-Fi Channel does the 48 hours of the Twilight Zone every New Year's.
yeah. I see a lot of people on Facebook. They talk about it, and it always made me think that Jordan Peele already dropped the Twilight Zone because people were like, "Yeah, I'm watching the Twilight Zone." I'm like, "Wait, did it already come out?" You know what I mean? So, but yeah, yeah. Back to what you were saying, the horror noir. What did you think about that, yo?
It was really interesting. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really well. Um, I guess we should give a little synopsis for it.
Yeah. For people who are not familiar, and that I guess kind of give you a heads up. That's what we were talking about. It was on Shudder, exclusively on Shudder, and basically it's about like different horror films dealing with Black community or the Black culture, how it all got started. It even goes as far as the show when Black people were not even starring in the film. They actually had like white people in blackface playing roles, and it started off with Birth of a Nation. And then it works its way to when they started having Black actors in certain roles, and then there was a drop where you had science when I think where horror started to go science fiction a little bit. It's like I think it's like the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. It was the 80s, and so they felt like Black people weren't smart enough to be like in scientific roles or whatever, so you didn't see any Black people in the horror film. And then when Black people came back in, they were killed at the beginning of every horror movie. And so like so it brings it all the way up to like Get Out, where you have like Black leading roles in horror film, where they can, they're actually winning. You know what I mean? They're actually like fighting. They're not, like, being cowards or anything like that. So, but I felt it was very interesting. It actually went in depth with a lot of things. Cause I always heard about the zombies, like the whole zombie, I guess, storyline where, like I guess the Black people represented zombies to a certain degree, or with the voodoo, or mainly voodoo. It came from, because I don't want to mess it up. I forgot what movie it was, but it started off where I guess it was an island they were doing voodoo or something like that, and the black people represented like the zombies in that one. Then it broke it down to Night of the Living Dead. I think I said the right one, right? Because I always get Night of the Living Dead confused with the other one. Okay,
Yeah.
and so so that was broken down to where you had I forgot the guy's name who actually played the star role, but it was such a reflection of where the guy is the hero, but at the end he gets assassinated. Spoiler alert! And he said that the lead actor in Night of the Living Dead was actually compared to Martin Luther King. You know what I mean? Trying to save everybody, but then gets assassinated at the end.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that was really interesting to me about Night of the Living Dead because first of all, it was when was that movie? Like 1969 or something? And so, you have a black male lead, a strong black male lead in a horror movie that early. That by
Right.
itself was unheard of. But then I thought it was interesting that George Romero, like he said that um, he wasn't thinking about that at the time. It was just that I can't remember the actor's name, but he was the best. He auditioned the best for the role, so they cast him. Um, but the impact that had was is still being felt today, really. And like you said, the end when he gets shot, like that has a social resonance
Right.
to it that it wouldn't have
Dwayne
had.
Jones, that's his name.
Do what?
Dwayne Jones.
Dwayne
Dwayne
Jones.
Jones is his
Okay.
name.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that and that and I remember watching that when I was a kid, and I was and back then as a kid, you didn't have to watch too many things that's black and white,
Right.
and I don't know what stopped me from. I just happened to be because like back then my mother didn't have cable, so we had to watch whatever you can watch. There were times where I was just mad watching golf because there wasn't nothing on Sunday. So and I would just like watch golf till I fall asleep. So so it was it was very limited of the things I can watch. But I remember that movie was on, and I remember the beginning. What was her name? Barbara. They're gonna get you, Barbara.
Yeah.
Was it Barbara? He was
Yep.
saying.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
it.
So I remember him doing that, and I was kind of it was funny to me. I was like, oh, he's kind of funny. And then all of a sudden, the guy walks up and grabs the other guy, starts biting. I'm like, whoa. And I was just stuck. And then especially when they had the black lead in it, and as being a black man, you automatically, I automatically would root for the black character in the film. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was like an attachment, you know what I'm saying, that I had. And then at the end, when he was killed, I did feel like angry, like, no, he wasn't even. Well, wait a minute. Am I confusing? He wasn't even a zombie. Well, didn't they kill him? Didn't they kill him when he was just a normal human?
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So I remember being, angry about that and just not understanding, why it happened. Because I was so young when I saw that film, and I couldn't understand, the reasoning, like where did they kill him for? He was saving everybody.
Right.
So yeah, so that was pretty good. I enjoyed that. Oh, any parts of the horror Noire that you really like or stood out to you?
I mean, they talked about a lot of um like movies and directors from like as far back as the 40s that I'd
Right.
never heard of, and I don't know, they had a lot of like interesting stuff in there. I thought a lot of cool stuff, and then of course they talked about a lot of movies like Demon Knight. I don't know if you like that movie, but I loved that movie growing up. The Tales from the
Demon
Crypt
Knight.
one with Jada Pinkett.
Yeah, I did like that, man. That's when I felt all right. So it was an era where I used to have crushes, and I actually forgot Jada Pinkett was one of my crushes, and it started off with her. It was in a movie. I can't think of the name of it. Jason's Lyric. I
Oh
love that
yeah.
movie, and I was like the first movie I cried. that I remember. Well, I know the first movie I cried was Dark Crystal when the villain died, but the second movie I remember crying was Jason's Lyrics. So, and that whole thing that that whole role she played made me fall in love with her, and so to see her in that role, being a badass, man, I felt back in love with her. Like I was like, this is why I love Jada Pinkett so much. You know what I mean? So yeah, I love that movie. That was a real cool movie. It was definitely different. I don't. It's not too many movies I can compare that to. Like the whole seal thing. It was almost like a video game. It was, you know what I mean? How it was like kind of, you would seal off certain rooms or whatever with the blood. Right. I guess with, so that was interesting.
Yeah.
Now, have you heard of this movie called Death by Temptation?
I had heard of that, but no, I've never seen it though.
Okay, yeah, they talked about that movie on Horror Noire, and I actually saw that movie when I was when I was visiting my grandparents in South Carolina, and I remember I was already attached to it because it had Kadeem Hardison in it from A Different World, and also it had I forgot the guy's name. He passed away, but it was on New Jack City. He played the Dunner Man, and also he played Radio Raheem on Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. And so, he always stood out to me too. And so, and watching it, just all black people, that's what made it more scarier for me. Was the fact that it was a woman. She was pretty, but yet she was like some type of demon, and she would seduce men, bring them home, and then either torture them or just kill them. And I think the more men she killed, the more powerful she got, or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Cool. But I totally remember freaking out because I didn't remember, it was nothing it was nothing that I've seen before that was similar to that, and to where I related to it so much. I know the actors that are in this film, you know what I'm saying? And, some of them were being off, so it was very uncomfortable as a kid to watch this. And all my grandparents are sleeping, and I'm under their bed. So what I used to do was, because they expected me to be asleep, so I would crawl under their bed and sneak and get the remote first, then crawl under the bed and change the channel. So and they're sleeping, and I'm under the bed, scared as hell, watching Death by Temptation. So that one really stood out to me, and I really loved that movie. That was pretty cool. It was cheesy, but it was still cool though.
Yeah, I should check that out for sure. There's a sequel to Tales from the Hood too.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
Yeah. That has Keith David playing the I forgot the actor that was oh, the shit. That was, woo, he always used to scream in all his movies. It was every role that he would play, even in Sugar Hill, he would just be woo, he got high off of some drugs, woo. And then even in the Tales from the Hood, he would be like, "You want the shit, woo?" And he would just keep every time, he was remember, hey, is that it's I forgot the black dude's name, but he always be like, shit, in every movie that he plays.
Yeah.
Have that signature, that would be his signature thing. That other guy, that was his signature thing. He would hoop and holler. He'd be woo. Every role he plays, just about, that's what he does. But yeah, it was all right. It was all right. I mean, actually, it was a little cheesy at times, but I was able to watch it straight through. Of course, it had its messaging, and I was mad that on the original, I was so into just horror like Jason and Freddy. I didn't really take in the message that Tales from the Hood was trying to provide. You know what I mean? Because I was young at the time, and I wanted to, just get to a good death scene and be afraid. And I think that, as an adult, I'm kind of mad at myself, like shame on you, younger Kawan or younger Critical, for not, actually I wasn't Critical back then, so shame on you, younger Kawan, for not, taking in the messaging, because I was like, I don't get it, you know what I mean? I got it, but it was just like I just want to get to the regular killing,
Right.
but yeah. So I was watching that, I kind of felt bad, like, damn, man, I was so damn brainwashed as a kid.
Well, I mean, we're all naive when we're growing up,
Yeah,
So we're
yeah.
still learning stuff now.
Right, right. But yeah, it was a lot of informative things though. It was so much information that was just happening in that film, in that documentary, I should say.
Yeah.
And they even talked about Candyman, and that,
They
that was
did, yeah.
interesting. They were talking about how, like back then it was the whole thing of black men just chasing after white women. And I heard about that with King Kong. Like that's what King Kong was about. Like King Kong represented the black man chasing after the white woman because of, actually, I think, was it a boxer? I forgot the boxer's name. Was it the Black Bomber? Or I forgot the boxer's name, but the story I got, they didn't talk about this in the documentary, but I remember the story of like this black boxer, and he would, like, date a lot of white women, and so they basically tried to make King Kong after him because he was brutalizing everybody in the ring, and they tried to like make a comparison to King Kong and the white women with this boxer and the white woman. I think it was the Black Bomber. I don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. I just can't think of the name right now. I didn't
That
even think we were
was
going to go this deep
th-
into it.
that was the basis for King Kong.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. And
That
then
is
even,
fucked up.
yeah, then even with the when the I guess when the boxer would win his matches, because it would be like, like either like the whites would support the white boxer, the blacks would support the black boxer, and when this boxer would win, I want to say it's the Brown Bomber, but anyway, when this boxer would win, like black people would get lynched. So it'll be like, well, okay, you won the fight, but we won the war, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? It'll be like it's a random, like every time after the fight he would win this fight, a random like black person will get lynched. So it was a lot of stuff that the horror noir kind of opened up, and I kind of forgot about. I remember like certain information about it, like just things that happened in the past, and then horror noir kind of touched on it. I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. That's right about the whole King Kong thing, because you watch King Kong now. Well, when I watch King Kong now, I'm so into the animation, and where they're taking it, but you're not thinking about what was going on back then. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? What history was happening in the era of, King Kong, like the first King Kong and things of that nature. And when I heard about that, it kind of like brought everything back. So
Yeah. Yeah, actually that reminded me, like I thought they made a really good point in the documentary, and I'll probably mess up how they said it, but they were saying that, like if you want horror, you just look at the history of black people in America. Like they lived horror, and then and they showed a bunch of examples, which is crazy. But that's something I never thought of. I'm just a
right. I
naive
mean,
white dude.
yeah, I mean, but to get back, oh yeah, to get back, I got a little bit too far away from the Candyman. So they were saying with Candyman, that's what he was doing. He was chasing after this white woman, and he was killing, because that I remember I did get confused about that when I was a kid, when I was younger watching Candyman. I remember he killed maybe a couple of black people in there, and I was just like, I wonder why though. You know what I'm saying? Because he killed like the main character's best friend, and her best friend was black.
Right.
And I was like, I remember I was thinking like, wow, why did he kill the best friend? I didn't get what she provoked for him to do that. What she did for him to kill her. You know what I'm saying? But it was Tony Todd. He was saying, he kind of looked like he felt bad about it. He was just like, I was just playing a role, and I hope, people really got it. And I don't think people were blaming Tony Todd for the character he played. It was more so whoever wrote it or created the character. But,
Right.
It mainly was, like he did a good job. They were saying, well, Tony, you did a great job. Like you will forever be Candyman. We can't see anybody who will fulfill that role. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was scary, but it was just the messaging that was in it that kind of like, kind of rubbed like, especially Black people the wrong way. Like, okay, what does that mean? Like, why is he, basically, throwing everything away for this white woman, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of weird. But I never really, I thought about it with Candyman, but it's interesting that, it wasn't me just reaching. Like, it wasn't me like, because I never had historical facts to why Candyman was made, but it was interesting to see that others kind of picked up on that, energy as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
but yeah, so I'll definitely say check it out. Hard Noirs on what's it on? I forgot.
It's on Shudder.
Shutter, yeah. I was about to say Scanner. I didn't want to say Scanner. I was like, I know it's not damn Scanner. What's it on again? But yeah. So I guess to also say that most people probably already know that Walking Dead is back on. I know Dave, you're a great fan of Walking
Oh
Dead.
yeah, I can't wait to see the same shit over and over.
No, he's not a fan at all. I actually just watch it. I just watch it just to watch it, man. I mean, it's not. I'll say it's a little bit more than that for me, because I have stake in the characters. I follow the characters since day one, so it's like it's dropped off certain times, but then it'll pick back up or whatever. But yeah, it's back on. So I just, we're talking about horror stuff, so I had to say that.
Wow, it's already back. Well, this is like the mid-season return.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think this is like two episodes into the mid season.
Okay.
And also too, I saw the oh shoot, I forgot the name of it. Can't think of the name of it. I saw that. So actually, I did a review on the Prodigy. So if you want to check out the reviews, Critical Blues reviews. But I saw the Prodigy, and it was like, and as I said on the review, Dave Picoult's wife, Jessie, shout out to Jessie. She actually sent out the a trailer for it, for us to talk about on actually Pod Cemetery. So when I saw it, I was like, man, I'm not gonna see this. Like because I saw the trailer, it kind of kept everything, I guess, in the dark, so to speak. It didn't want to give out all of the action scenes, just enough suspenseful scenes in the trailer to kind of, hopefully get your mouth watering. And I was just like, I don't know, it's not going to be good. And so I went into the film with low expectations, and actually I ended up liking it a little bit. So
okay.
yeah, so for that. So it was actually pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, the trailer was like, you kind of didn't really know what the hell was going on exactly, like, because they're talking about like going back in time in your mind or something weird like that.
Right.
It was kind of a trailer that's supposed to be like, yeah, come check this out to see what they're talking about, kind of thing.
Right. Well, that scene though, where he was seeing the psychologist, like, I think, the kid's name was Miles, and when he's seeing the psychologist, that was the hardest scene. It was two hard scenes in that film. That was one of the hardest scenes, and it was mainly dialogue, but it was just like so disturbing. And the second part, it was another hard scene with interaction with the son and the mother. And I was like, whoa, so it had its little jump scares here and there. But unfortunately, the second scene, or the hardest scene, I feel like probably most people would argue about the film, I already saw that scene before in another film, so
Really?
it yeah, it didn't, do anything for me. But everybody in the movie theater jumped, like Vic jumped. So and so yeah, like everybody jumped. Everybody was like, oh, everybody was like, and I was like, oh, I've seen it before. But yeah, but but it's an unlikely film. It was a 1977 movie, that Italian film that they took a scene from. So
Oh, wow.
most people are not gonna be hip to that. I kind of fell upon that by accident. It was a cat named Sean T that was real big in horror when I was in college, and he would turn me on to like the international horror films. Like I wasn't even into international horror films. Like he would turn me on to that and past horror films and just a whole bunch of horror stuff. And through him I was able to see that scene, and they reduplicated that scene. And
You remember
so
what the movie was?
yeah, it was called oh shit, I think I'm drawing a blank now. It's called, I know, right? No, it's all good. No, Beyond the Doors 2. And it's called, like, it has two titles. It's Beyond the Doors 2 and Shock. Okay. And like I said on the Critical Blue reviews, if you want to spoil and find out what that scene is, I would say go to Beyond the Doors 2 trailer, because they actually put it in in Beyond the Doors 2.
Oh,
and
wow.
it's the scariest scene in the trailer, but it's between the son and the mother. That's all I'm gonna say.
Huh. That's cool. That makes me want to watch both of those movies. See if I can pick it out.
Right. Yeah. So that's cool. Anything on your end that you wanted to discuss?
What did we had something else to get? Well, we were going to talk Mortal Kombat. You have some Mortal Kombat news for us?
I do. Well, nothing. Well, they did drop a new character, Jade, that's going to be in the new Mortal Kombat 11. So, okay. and that actually drops April 23rd. The full release date is April 23rd of this year, so that's right around the corner. And so, but yeah, they dropped Jade, a new character, and I kind of was doing something which was very interesting. It's a website, not a website, but it was a YouTube channel that actually takes you through like the beginning to the end. Like I didn't know that Midway, because it started off on Midway, and then it became what's the new title that or new company that Mortal Kombat is under?
Oh man,
well, it's not really new. Something is it Neither Realm?
That sounds right.
And it shows like Scorpion with the with the chain, holding the chain or whatever. Right. But I think it might be Neither Realm. But I didn't know that like they transferred to Neither Realm. Like I didn't know that. And they're saying that the storylines are different. Like Neither Realm has its storyline, and then the other company has their storyline. Yeah, Midway. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So yeah. So like and I didn't know. I thought it was all together. But it's not actually. But it's a thing where you can follow the characters. I believe it's like the story of each character, and it'll tell you the story from the beginning. It tells you when the storyline goes off base, and also it just gives you like a timeline, from beginning to end. If it was Liu Kang in the first one till the end, because he's died, before and became evil. I didn't even know him and Raiden fell at odds because of I forgot. I think Katana died and it was Raiden's fault or something weird. And so him and Raiden got to a fight, and the energy that Liu Kang was using against Raiden, like the fire energy, Raiden shot electricity at Liu Kang when he was just getting ready to power up on that fire energy, and it basically burnt him alive. And so like he was all fried, like he had one eye and shit. And so at the end, Raiden was remorseful, but Liu Kang ended up dying and stuff like that. And Liu Kang resented Raiden for that, and so, but it seemed like the story is starting to switch now, where Raiden is becoming evil. So it's, I don't know. So you all check that out when you get a chance. It's basically just breaking down like the timeline of each character, and from the beginning to the end, it's just going over their story.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Man, that's so much information, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think I did Luke. I watched Liu Kang's Noob Sailbot and what's the other guy that floats in green energy. Anyway, I was looking at some cats that weren't really main characters other than Liu Kang. They weren't really main characters. Like I didn't look up Raiden's. I'm pretty sure I would have got some real meat and potatoes if I'd have looked up Raiden to how he started off to the ending and stuff like that. So,
have you heard that there's an online petition to have Shaggy from Scooby-Doo be a bonus character on the game, like a DLC character?
I saw that. See, I thought that was a troll. I thought Ed Boon was just trolling. Like I saw him on Twitter with that, and Shaggy had like energy around him and whatever, and his eyes were glowing. And so I was like, that's Ed Boon trolling, because he'll do that. He'll like throw some bullshit picture out there, and and I'll be like, oh, he's just trolling. I didn't know that was a real thing though. Like they were trying to make it a real thing. That's crazy. Can you imagine? Like, cause one of his fatalities, he's gonna bring Scooby out there to do, like, if they use him, he's gonna bring Scooby out there to do a fatality.
Right.
And I wonder how Scooby's gonna look. That's gonna be crazy.
Oh man.
You think they should do a scarier version of Scooby-Doo? Where it's like it's fun but borderline scary.
Yeah, sure, why not? I'd be all for it. I wouldn't want to be the one that has to write that.
Right, because that's a thin line you have to use, and and then the other thing too, you probably won't be able to kill any of the characters off. Actually, you know what? I would kill one character. I would kill one character off. It'll be between what's the guy with the scarf around his neck?
Oh my god. I don't remember.
Daphne's boyfriend.
Right. I can't think of his name.
It'll be either him or Shaggy.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because if you kill him, it'll be safe, right? Like most people don't like that character anyway. I don't believe.
Right.
I think, you know what I mean? Like most people care about all the other characters except him. So if you kill him, it'll be safe. But then if you kill Shaggy, it'll be sad if you do it right.
Right.
At the end they all like circled around him. You know what I mean? As he's dying. And then
he starts glowing blue and gets sucked into Mortal Kombat world.
Right. No, as he's dying, you hear "Get over here!" and his soul's just sucked out. Nah, that's cool, man. But yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, man. But yeah, no, that's all I got in the horror camp.
Yeah, we should probably.
Oh, Ma. Oh,
man, I don't even know what to think about that.
Like that. Like that is so confusing. Like I don't know. She has a rhinestone hat that says "sexy" on it. Man, and for those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is new psychological horror thriller from Tate Taylor and the Blumhouse. It's about a lonely woman befriends a group of teenagers and decides to let them party at her house. And just when the kids think that everything is great, like this lady is letting us party, we can drink over here, and all of that. But she gives them, you know, I don't know if this is going to, they did it for the trailer. I don't know if this is going to be the main part of the movie, but she tells them not to go upstairs, and they end up going upstairs anyway. And so like she starts to freak out afterwards, you know, and like kind of like invades their life. So I don't know. I mean, even like I feel like it's going to be edgy, because even with it was like a black kid. It was like one black kid. He was the token kid, and it was like the cast of like a white cast. Right. And even what she did was everybody was knocked out, and she painted his face white. So, I'm kind of interested to see where this film is going.
Yeah, like, me too, definitely. And it's like Octavia Spencer, who's awesome.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. I think she'll knock that role out. You know,
definitely will. Yeah.
You know, only thing is if they gave her corny dialogue, you know, then she has to say the corny dialogue, like, you know, if they write it and be like, "Come here, jive turkey," you know, something crazy like that. You're like, all right, yeah, I know a black person, they write that shit. You know? But that's gonna be interesting. I kind of want to see where it's going. You know, this story is going. So
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. Definitely. It definitely looks like something very different. Like, haven't seen
right
like that before.
It's almost like if you got Misery and had a party at the woman's house. What was the woman's name on Misery?
I don't know. It was Kathy Bates played the.
Right.
I think her name was Annie.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, if y'all threw a party at Annie's house,
right.
That's what it seems like. But yeah. But that's it so far. For what I've picked up in the horror department.
Hell yeah, man.
So
man, you know what?
What's
These
up?
vines have really started growing up around here.
You serious? I'm okay over here. Nothing's happening. I don't hear not even a mouse is in.
Oh man,
in this mausoleum.
It's
you all right out there?
They're like closing. I'm trapped. I can't get out.
What are you talking about?
Completely surrounded.
All right, I'm about to come out there. All right, I'm about to come out there.
Help!
You serious? Stop playing. Help. Stop playing. All right, I'll be out there in a minute. I'm coming out. I'm coming out.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.